I'm here to expose why the Quad City locals are wanting to move to Bettendorf, Iowa. Now, this is a broad question and it can change for many different people, but there's a certain few things that I see that people state as reasons that they decide to move to Bettendorf, Iowa, even though they already live in the Quad Cities. And if you're thinking about moving to the Quad Cities and Bettendorf's on that option, well, maybe find out why the locals have decided they want to move there. First and foremost, it's gonna be the property values. If you look at Bettendorf over the history of real estate in the Quad Cities, Bettendorf typically is ranked at the highest property values, and the prices of the homes continue to raise every year at a little bit faster pace than some of the other Quad Cities. And property values are super important if you're gonna be purchasing a home that is an investment for you and your family. So that is a huge importance to a lot of people. But not only are the prices going up, if somebody decides that Bettendorf isn't for them, when they go to sell, because a lot of people are wanting to move to Bettendorf, the days on the market are typically way lower than a lot of the other cities around the Quad Cities, because everybody has that pent-up demand to try to get into Bettendorf. So the houses sell faster, they sell for more money, and they continue to rise in the property values. So it's a great benefit. But the other thing about it though, and I don't have this as a point, is that the taxes remain on the lower end because the city of Bettendorf is committed to trying to keep those taxes lower so that people can purchase their homes maybe at a higher price than a lot of the other cities, but then they don't have to be hit with the big property taxes that some of the other cities have going on. So it's twofold. Higher prices, hard to get into the Bettendorf area, but if once you're here, you own a home, you have the benefit of having those higher prices and lower taxes. So big double whammy. If you're moving to the Quad Cities, maybe consider it as one of the reasons that you might want to live in Bettendorf. Now, I help people move to Bettendorf all the time, so I get a ton of these types of questions. And if you have a specific question about moving to Bettendorf, I am a licensed realtor here in the city. So give me a call. My number is popping up down below. I answer all those phone calls, emails, texts, and I'm here to help you if you have any questions. Now, the second reason that people tell me they want to move to Bettendorf, a lot of the times is because of the school districts. So what are the different school districts here in Bettendorf? Well, we have basically two. We have Bettendorf, obviously, and then we also have Pleasant Valley, which doesn't seem like it would be a part of Bettendorf, but it actually is. The school district line is right inside of Bettendorf. But why these schools particularly? Why are people drawn to them? Well, according to niche.com, they are the top 2 schools in the Quad Cities. Pleasant Valley being #1 ranked, and the Bettendorf School District being #2 ranked in the Quad Cities. And not only that, Pleasant Valley is ranked #1 in the whole state of Iowa. So a lot of people are really wanting to get into one of these 2 school districts because they see the benefit of these rankings that niche.com is putting out, and it may be that it's going to be a better education for their kids if they get the chance to move to Bettendorf. So yeah, we have schools, we have property values, but that can't be all that is driving people to want to come to Bettendorf. So what other reasons are people giving? Well, a lot of it has to do with the city itself and what they are doing to develop the city as it is growing. There is a ton of different developments going on, and I'm not just speaking about the homes. I'm talking about entertainment, business, manufacturing, all different areas. It's just crazy what is going on. Let's start off as far as downtown Bettendorf. Downtown Bettendorf used to be not much of a place that people wanted to go, but because the new I-74 bridge went in, it had to restructure a lot of the downtown area to, be implementing some of these changes. And as part of that, Bettendorf took it upon themselves to really amp up what is getting put down in downtown Bettendorf. They have brand new restaurants like Yoso, Verde. They have the Riverside Grill, which just got put into the old Accenture Credit Union building. It's really a lot of stuff going on, and they have some established businesses like K&K down there. So they have a good mix of the old and the new and the up and coming that a lot of people are really liking. That's not the only area that Bettendorf is pouring money into, trying to get people to come and develop. And the most noteworthy one is the TPK Bank Betplex, as they call it, out there near I-80. It's a huge facility that was built just a few years ago, they have bowling alleys, they have volleyball pits, they have arcade, baseball, soccer. They just have about everything there, and it draws a lot of people to the community that don't actually live here, but bring in a lot of money for the community. And as a part of that, a lot of people, a lot of businesses are investing their money out there to draw even more people in. And it's really a snowball effect as things are going on. They're getting a brand new Iron Tea, which is like a Topgolf coming to the area. It's supposed to open up, I believe, in the next year, maybe year and a half. So it's going to be a really cool addition to that development out there. People are absolutely loving it. And that's another reason they see the city putting the work in to try to make the city the premier city that it is. And people like that. They like to see progress. And that's one reason that a lot of locals want and are trying to get into Bettendorf. Now, Bettendorf is expanding. It's growing at a rapid pace, but it hasn't lost its smaller town roots. You see that a lot with community events. We have the 4th of July parade. We have the Halloween parade, which is coming up very soon, and it's just a really cool time to get out with your neighbors and just see what the community is all about. Bettendorf has hosted events to celebrate Bettendorf's birthday. They've hosted events for 4th of July, like the fireworks. So it's a great city to still feel connected to your neighbor, which a lot of times I feel like in the world that we live in right now is missing. So it's a great fact and a relieving fact to be in Bettendorf and to see that community aspect that I think a lot of people have been missing for quite a long time, and people love it, especially the locals here in the Quad Cities. Bettendorf is seen as a pretty active community, and a part of that is because of the parks that we have here. Right now I'm in Phase Park, which is right by the Bettendorf Library, but it's not the only park around. They have a ton of parks. They have parks for baseball, they have a ton of parks for soccer, just a relaxation park like this. They have parks for the dogs even. In fact, they have a bunch of community events that happen there. Just recently, we had a Dogtoberfest, which I happen to be a part of the committee that puts that on, and it was an amazing turnout. We had 150 bags to give out to the community, to the first 150 people, and we ran out so fast. It was insane. We probably ended up having 400 or 500 people there because that many people support the dog park. Is a fundraiser to really build up the dog park and make it the best dog park that is around. And that is a reason that people really like it, because they like to get outdoors, they like to be on the bike trails, they like to be in parks all over the city. They're all very well maintained by the city itself. So it's a big draw for people because they want to get out, breathe the fresh air that is here in Iowa, and it's a great opportunity if you're moving to the Quad Cities. Now, I've talked about this in other videos, but it's kind of been in a negative light, and that is the restaurants in Bettendorf. They have been a little bit lacking up until somewhat recently. Restaurant scene in Bettendorf is really picking up steam, and it's a lot to do with the development that the city is putting into it. As I had talked about just a little bit earlier, I said we have Yoso, which is a sushi restaurant, we have Verde, which is a Mexican restaurant, but we have a ton of restaurants going up out by the Betplex. We have Cookies and Dreams, we have Twinspan Brewery, we have Oscars, we have all sorts of different things going out there as far as restaurants. But even Middle Bettendorf has restaurants like Tanglewood. It is a phenomenal place to go to, especially during the summer. They have a big outdoor stage where they have live bands. They play football, baseball on the big screen out there. They have fire pits, cornhole. They have just all sorts of different things, and it's a great family place to go to. And that's right in Middle Bettendorf, not even where they're typically developing the city. So Bettendorf is really picking up its game as far as the restaurant scene. A lot of people are seeing that as a great opportunity to move here and still have a lot of options as far as where they want to potentially eat and hang out. Now, here in Bettendorf, the traffic is actually fairly minimal. You know, we're not a huge city, only about 40,000 people. And because of that, the traffic just isn't there. You know, yes, we do have some traffic jams here and there, maybe up on 53rd Street, but it's not terrible. And the roads are very, very well kept, almost to the point that it may be a little bit overboard, city of Bettendorf. Sometimes I feel like they do the same road 4 or 5 times in 4 or 5 years. Particularly for me, that was Middle Road just a couple years ago. It seemed like every time I went down Middle Road, which is one of the main thoroughfares through Bettendorf, it seemed to be under construction. Now, don't get me wrong, I love having the nice roads, but sometimes it is a little inconvenient when they're fixing them all the time. But again, I'm not going to complain because I'd rather have the nice newly paved road all the time, and I guess we'll deal with the construction when it does come up. But it is a big benefit. Traffic is minimal and the roads are very well maintained. If you're moving to Bettendorf, you're probably thinking about where the heck am I gonna shop? Well, luckily for you, there is some options. Now, some of those options are technically in Davenport, but they're right on the Davenport-Bettendorf line. And it's a great thing for us if we live here to be able to have access very closely, because if you're driving across Bettendorf, it's really gonna take you 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes to get across. So you have a lot of convenient places to go to that you're not gonna have to drive all the way across Bettendorf. In fact, when my mom visits me, she loves to go shopping because everything is so close by. It's quick to get to. There's not a lot of inconvenience, and she's not used to that because she lives in a small town, about 1,500 people, and her nearest shopping center is about 30 to 45 minutes away, depending on what that traffic looks like. So if you want convenience next to shopping, and that's groceries, that's clothes, that's any kind of retail, everything is very conveniently located. So it's a great option when you're moving to Bettendorf. And it's another reason that people locally are wanting to move here, because it's very super convenient to get anywhere. Now, there is only so much that I can cover in one video, but if you're interested, give me a call, give me a text. I can help answer any specific questions that you might have. But in the meantime, if you just want to watch another video, well, check out this video right here.